Okay, welcome to this Photopea lesson on making a Southpark character on Photopea. So the first thing you want to do is go to this exact YouTube page that you're watching this on and download that blue link down below. I know this is how to create a Southpark self-portrait using Photoshop, but it's the same folder. You actually want to download that. It'll be that blue link in my description. So if you click on that, you can download it. It's free to everybody. Just download anywhere. Don't worry, there's no virus, especially viruses nowadays. Now, while it loads, you don't want to immediately open it up and start messing around with it. You want to unzip the folder first. So to do that, you're just going to click on the little arrow and go to Show in Folder, and it'll pop up on your screen. I have two screens, that's why it showed up like that. So it's going to show up right there. You see the little zipper on there. You just want to right click on it and go to Extract All, and it will extract all those files for you to use. After you do that, you might want to go back to your old browser where you can see the zip folder and delete it, and then go back and go ahead and open up your Southpark folder just to see what's in there. You don't need to open up anything though. Do not click on that. You actually want to go to photopea.com and then go to File, Open, and then find that file that's in the unzipped folder, and you just open that up. So what we're going to do is we have a template right here. We're going to basically make a body part out of the shapes for each part. So get acclimated to the tools. You'll notice that the shapes are right there, and if you hold down your mouse button, you can select the Ellipse Tool. You kind of have to click on it kind of hard. Alright, so then you just click and drag an ellipse shape, kind of the same shape. Doesn't matter what color it is, just go up to the options bar where I did and just change that color. If you notice, if you put your mouse over the template, it'll go right to the exact color it was used, and you can make it lighter or darker. And then once you get the color you like, I'm just going to stick with the color that's there. Just go to Edit, Free Transform, and you're going to put it exactly into place with this bounding box. And then once you get that right, just hit Enter or hit another tool on your toolbar. It gets rid of it. And if you right click on this, or I'm sorry, if you double click where it says shape, you can change it to head. And then if you right click, you can also rasterize the layer, and then you always turn your eyeballs off on your head. So we're gonna do a eye shape now. Same thing, you just go to find the ellipse tool. Don't worry about the color yet. Just click and drag kind of the same shape that's there, and then to change color, you go up to the options bar, click on that one, and change it to white. Hit OK, then go to Edit, Free Transform, and you're just going to rotate it around a little bit and use the bounding box to get it where you want it. And then just hit Enter. Once you get it just right. Alright, and then you're going to duplicate that layer. So you're going to right click, and you can rasterize it if you want. Duplicate layer, that way you don't have to make the eyeball again. So you just go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, and then use the Move tool and move it over top of the other one. So now you have two eyeballs, and you can join those two layers if you'd like. If you hold down Control and select both of them, and then you can just merge layers. That's how you merge layers in Photopea, and just change that to eyes, and then turn that eyeball off, because we just want to look at the template and turn off what we've already made. So now we're going to zoom in a little bit and get the ellipse tool, and we're going to make our pupils. So again, just make the shape that's kind of similar. You got to change the color. You can go to black, right click, you can duplicate that layer, then use the Move tool, move it over, and then obviously you probably want to merge those layers. So hold down Control, select both those layers, right click, merge shapes, and then you can rasterize it just to make it a little edit friendly. If you double click or right click and go to blending options, you can add a iris on there. And if you notice, I went to stroke, and you can change the color. You definitely want it on outside. Hopefully it says outside in the blending options. You can change the color to whatever color you want. Here I am struggling to find my true eye color. Once you find it, obviously click OK, and then you can move the size up to your preference. And then, you know, maybe I don't like this color. I want to go a little slate grayish. Hit OK, hit OK. So there's your eyeballs, your pupils. And then view fit in the area just to see where everything is. And you can even change the name of that layer to pupils. You know, turn the eyeball off and then go back to the template. And now we're gonna do the shirt. So you want the rectangle tool. You're gonna start at the left corner, go to the right corner just like I did, and then kind of make the box to cover up most of the shirt shape. Don't worry about the shirt going over the face. And then you want to go to Edit Free Transform Warp or Edit Transform Warp, and this allows you to see these little boxes in the corners. It allows you to click on those and then drag them to where you need them. You can see you probably want to do the exact same kind of movement that I'm doing. You can see I'm going out to the right, and the top one I'm going up and to the right to match that curve. And then, you know, kind of play around with it. It's just to cover all the shirt up. Obviously hit Edit Free Transform or hit Enter, and then you want to rasterize that layer and name this shirt. Now if I turn this shirt off, you'll see that there's I'm turning all these on first, just so I can see what they look like. If I turn the shirt back on, you'll notice there's those two lines that indicate where the arms are. So I'm going to try to put those in. I'm sorry, maybe I'm not. I'm going to do the hands. So make a hand shape. That's an ellipse. You know, obviously change the color to where you like it. Doesn't look like I'm going to do that, so I'm just going to rasterize the layer and then use the paint bucket. Alright, so I'm using the paint bucket. Select that color that I need and then just color over it. You can do it that way. There's 8,000 ways to color stuff in Photoshop. And then I duplicated it, and I'm just going to move that layer over top of the other one. Then I hold down Control, select both those layers, right click, merge layers, and then rename it to hands. So I'm going to turn on some of my layers. If you notice, my hands are below my shirt, so I want to drag my hands above my shirt layer so I can see what's going on. And now I'm going to use the line tool to make those marks where it delineates where the arms are. So I'm struggling here with there we go. So you just click, drag, let go, and you can change. I'm going to change the color up there. Obviously I have a black shirt, so it's not going to show up, so I'm going to go probably a little lighter, probably a gray, you know, so it shows up. And then I'll duplicate that. Looks like I messed up here, so I'll delete that layer. So after you make the initial line, you want to duplicate that line and then transform, flip horizontal, and then move it over. It appears I grabbed the wrong one, so I have to delete those layers. So I'm going to try this again. Duplicate that layer, and then edit, transform, flip horizontal, and then I use a move tool, move it over to where it goes. Now if I turn on all my shirt layers, I think I just merged those layers, and move it down. There you go, you can see the lines where they are, and I just turned on all my layers. This is what I've made so far. And you can see you can always order these around to where they go. You can see the eyes were underneath the head, so I had to pull the head down underneath the eyeballs. So now I'm ready to do the pants, and I'm going to fit in the area. So fit in the area. Turn off all these layers, because I just want to focus on the pants. So you're going to grab a rectangle shape again over here. It appears I can't find it because it's the line tool. There you go. So you got to hold your mouse button down, choose a rectangle tool, and just make a square. It's probably the easiest body part to make. You can change the color, obviously. Go up there to the options bar and click on that. You know, find a blue that you like if you're wearing blue jeans. Hit okay. Probably rasterize that, and then name it pants. And I'm going to drag that all the way underneath, right above the template layer. Should be the second from the bottom. So if I turn on all my layers, this is what I've made from scratch so far right here. If I turn off the template, you know, you can kind of see the shoes. So that's what we're going to try next. So to do the shoes, you're going to grab the Ellipse Tool and just watch how I do. Oh, I'm sorry, we're doing the thumbs first. We're doing the thumbs. Ellipse and click, drag. That's easy. Change the color. And you can change the color right to it if you just put your mouse right over it. Now you got to do that little outline. You got to go to blending options. So you got to right click on the thumb layer to bring up blending options. Go to stroke and then pick out a color. Usually if it's a Southpark character, it's going to be like a light brown, and then hit OK, and then you can, you know, rasterize that layer and then duplicate it and then use the move tool. And just move it over. And if you hold down shift, it'll stay in complete perfect line straight across. And then you can obviously hold down control and select both of your thumb layers and merge them. Right click, merge layers. And then you know, you want to put the hands towards the top. You know, you can always arrange the layers so they all show up. So don't forget about that. So if I turn off the template now, you've made everything except the shoes. So I'm going to turn off all these layers. Back on the template. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, but I'm going to show some space underneath and grab the Ellipse Tool. And watch how I make this ellipse. I'm going to start out right here, and you're kind of making a elongated ellipse, and then move it over top of the existing shoes, and then go to Edit Free Transform and try to get it to match really, really good. Don't worry about the bottom of that, because we're going to right click on this layer and we're going to rasterize it. You have to do that. Don't skip the step. Rasterize it. Alright, now you're going to grab what am I doing here? Raster. Alright. You're going to grab your rectangular selection tool, and now watch what I do with this tool. I'm going to click, drag, and I'm going to create the bottom of this. I want to erase all that. So I use the rectangular selection tool to select the bottom of it, and then once I select it, I hit backspace. Don't forget to go to select, deselect though. So now I got my shoe. I'm going to duplicate the shoe and use the move tool. I'll move it on over, and then obviously hold down control and select your other shoe and merge layers. So now that's all on one layer. Then you can rename that layer shoes. Now if I bring up blending options, or I can use the actually you can use blending options, or you can use the paint bucket. I'm using the paint bucket here to turn them into some Timberlands. So I need that nice color right there. Perfect. Now I'm going to go into blending options, and I'm going to go to stroke. And it looks like I added an outside stroke of dark brown to kind of mimic that look. So there's my Timberlands. Now view fit in the area. So if I turn off the template layer and turn on everything else, you should have your Southpark character pretty much. You don't need the template anymore. So I'm just going to click on that template, right click and delete. You don't need it anymore. And if you use it, that's horrible. You should make it from scratch, people. This is why we're learning. Alright, so now you can go in to add accessories. So go to File, Open, go to the Southpark folder that you downloaded, go into Mouse, find a mouth you want. Now I struggled trying to figure out how to move this in, and you'll see that it took me a while to figure out how am I going to get that in there, because in Photoshop you can just go to, you know, pull that tab down and you can see both at the same time. But for this, it took me a while to figure out how am I moving that in there? How am I moving that in there? So you're going to need the move tool for sure. That's your arrow. And what worked for me was, and see, I was struggling big time here. I kept going back and forth like, where is it? Where is it? I'll figure it out. Alright, so I grabbed it from the actual layer box and pulled it in there, and once it kind of went blue into the Southpark, you'll see a blue outline, then it accepts it for some reason. It always puts it in the top left corner. You'll see this again some more. So I'm going to rename that mouth. You bring it in and you got to pull it all the way to the top. I hope you saw that on the layer box. Rename it mouth. Now we can go to File, Open, and we'll get, what are we getting this time? Hair? Yeah, there's all kinds of hair. So here's how you do hair. Find a hairstyle that's kind of similar to yours. I'll show you how to, personalize it. So open it up. It's going to open up over there. You grab it there, and then you see that blue. It kind of like outlined it in blue. That's what you want to do. Then edit free transform, and you're going to fit it onto your head where you like it. Now you can keep this color, or you can obviously change it and personalize it, and I will show you how to do that. So you get it just right, hit enter, and then you can rename this hair layer. Now here's how you personalize it. You go to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and if you move the hue around, you can see how it changes colors, and then you get the saturation, which makes it gray or really, really colorful, and then lightness obviously, and darkness. So you can mess around with those to get the color you want. Now if you wanted to add stuff to it, like say that's a pretty boring hairstyle, say you have bangs, find the Polygonal Lasso tool right there. Make sure you're on your hair layer still. Polygonal Lasso tool, it creates little anchor points. Now watch what I do. Click, 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 click. I'm clicking some, I want some bangs. So I'm just clicking around, blee, 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 blee. This is just a selection tool. And I kind of go back to the beginning, double click, it kind of connects the circuit. Now I'm going to get my brush tool, and if you notice, whatever color is there is what you brush. I want the same exact color, so I just put my mouse exactly over that blonde hair color, made my brush bigger on the options bar, and then you can just color over that selection. And you got to select, deselect. Say you want to do some more, you can use the, what am I doing here? Oh, that's the eraser. Say you want to erase some of the hair. You can also use the eraser if you don't have sideburns, or if your sideburns are, you got a nice fade going. I don't know. Alright, so then you can always add more stuff. So I'm going back to the Polygonal Lasso tool. Say he's got somewhat of a spiky hair. So click, 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 click. And anytime you double click, it goes ahead and completes the circuit, so you can see the selection. And I'm kind of just doing some crazy hair here, and then I'll go back. I want that lighter color, and so I use my brush tool to color in that. That's why I love this tool, because it just colors the selected area. I'm just really in love with the Polygonal Lasso tool. So now I'm doing more just to personalize it, give it a personal touch. So it's just not the stock option. You don't have to do this. It's just if you want to, to truly, I don't know, challenge yourself, which I hope most of you do. Then you can also use the dodge and burn tool. The burn tool makes things darker. So I'm on the hair layer still, and usually when you use a burn tool, you always want to have the hardness at 0. And obviously you make your brush bigger. And this is why I love the burn tool. It adds that nice shading effect, nice little 3D effect. Now you'll see I'll use the burn or the dodge tool, which makes things lighter. But I didn't really like the way it looked, so I didn't really use it. You'll see right here, again, you want to use a very soft brush. Hardness should be at 0. And I'm trying to figure out what kind of width of my brush that I want. That's why I'm struggling here. I'll probably spend a good minute on this. I'll end up not using it. And that's the great thing about it, because you can always step backward if you don't like it. And that's what I'll do. Edit, step backward, and I'll probably do it again. Edit, step backward, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z until I get rid of all of it. Okay, so I'm happy with the hair, except I'm bald, so I don't really need it. So I was just showing you how to do hair. So now I do have a beard, so I'm going to open up another hairstyle. And you're like, well, how's this going to work? I don't really need these ones, so I'm going to close these. And here I am trying to, like, oh, how do I do it? Now you grab it by the layer on the layer box. You'll see right here. I'm going to grab it right there, click, drag, bring it all the way over there till it kind of goes blue, let go, and there it is in the top left corner, edit free transform. Now you can actually just rotate it all right around, and there's your beard. And a lot of people like to, you know, put beards on theirs. Obviously, probably none of my students because they don't have beards yet. But if you want to, that's you know, awesome. And then I went to edit, transform, warp, and you can see how I'm warping it using those little boxes right there. It takes a while to get used to the warp because it's such a very ginger tool as far as it's very responsive. So get it to where you like it, and now it looks like I'm lacking some facial hair on the top, and maybe I want to add some gray hairs because I have gray hairs on the bottom of my beard because I'm an old man. But for right now, if I grab the Polygonal Lasso tool, and you'll notice up at the top of the options bar, there's a section where you can add to selection. It looks like two conjoined circles up there. That way you can make multiple selections like I'm doing right there, and then just choose a color and just color over those. It's a really cool option for the Polygonal Lasso tool. And here I'm trying to use the dodge tool again to no avail. So again, I'm just gonna make all these little slivers. Again, this is with the Polygonal Lasso tool. Click, 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 double click, and you can see I just colored those in. I kind of skipped ahead. I did some more work around the top of my beard to draw that in. And there we go. He's coloring it in. Double click. And do it over there. And it's just to get that kind of hair texture. And then grab my brush those in. You can change your browns or whatever color your beard is. I'm gonna go fit in the area. I definitely went to select, deselect. Now what am I gonna do now? Probably put on a logo or a hat maybe. Really don't need these. Alright, so I'm gonna go to Google Images and I'm gonna look up a logo to put on my shirt. For me, I went to Boise State. That's where I got my master's. So I'm gonna go to Google Images and find a logo that I like. Boise State. There it is. Right click, copy image, and then go back to Photopea in your browser. Go to Edit, Paste, and then Edit Free Transform, and then make it smaller. Obviously, move it down over the shirt, and make it a little bit bigger. And definitely want to rename that logo. Obviously, I want to get rid of the black. You can see what I did there. I dragged that down, the logo down right above the shirt. I'm going to grab the magic wand tool. You can see where that is right over there. And select the white and hit backspace. It gets rid of it. Select, deselect. There it is. Now if I zoom in on it, I'm going to zoom in on it. You can see how it's kind of pixelated there. I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm going to go back to the magic wand tool. I'm going to select around it. I didn't select the logo, but I just selected around the logo. And I'm going to feather that. So go to select, modify, and then feather. And I'll put in 3. 3 is good. And if you hit backspace like 3 or 4 times, it gets rid of that. It gets rid of that like weird pixelated edge. It looks like I need to do a little bit more, so I'm gonna click on it again, select, modify, and then feather it, and hit backspace a couple more times, just to get rid of that feathered or that jagged edge. And so you see when I go to select, deselect, oh, see it's much nicer. So view, fit on the area. All right. So I have a logo. I can move that up or down, make sure it's in the correct orientation on the layer window. Use that eraser to get rid of that copyright. Who needs copyright? You can also warp it. edit free transform, and you can go to warp, edit transform warp. There's also the warp function up there if it's highlighted, and you can see how you can get it to like fit your shirt better, especially if you have a bit of a belly like myself, so it extends out a little bit. I'm looking at my boots. I think I'm going to add some more tread to the bottom of my boots. So I'm going to grab the rectangle tool and I'm just going to make a rectangle all the way across the length of the shoes. Definitely change that peach to a darker brown. And then hit OK. And I want to probably merge that with, I'll rasterize it first, but then I want to merge it with my shoes just so they're all together. It's not a rectangle in the middle of nowhere. So if you hold down Control and you select the shoes, you can, if you make shoes like I do. Now I'm going to put a logo on my boots, so I'm getting the Timberland logo. I just want that. There it is. So I'm just going to copy that and then go back over here. If you notice, that was a PNG file. Edit, paste. Beautiful thing about Photopea is it brings it in just as a PNG, so you don't have to cut out the background. So you can go to Edit, Free Transform, and make that way smaller. And I still not small enough, so I'm gonna move it so I can see it. And then Edit, Free Transform, make it very tiny. I'm gonna have to zoom in here more just to see what I'm doing. Put it right there. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. It still needs to be a little smaller. Alright, there we go. Alright, now I'm going to change the color of that. Oh, too far down. You might have to move your Timberland or your shoe logo to where you can see it. I'm going to try blending modes, but I don't think it's going to work since it's black. You'll see you don't need to do this. It might work for you, it might not. See, it just totally erased it, so I'm going to go back up to normal because I realize this is a lost cause. And then I'm just going to go into blending options after I type in Timberland logo or whatever I'm doing, shoes. And then go into blending options, you just double click on that layer, bring up that, go to color overlay, and then just change it to maybe a darker brown. Just a little bit darker, it's got that nice indentation. And then duplicate that layer, and then use the move tool and move it over. Again, if you hold down shift with the move tool, it keeps it perfectly in line. So move it over there. And you can merge those layers if you want. View, fit in the area. So now I probably add a hat. So File, Open, just to show you, some accessories. So there's the hats. A bunch of hats to choose from. You can look up hat PNGs on Google Images too. Again, to move it in there, you just grab it by the layer and move it to where it highlights blue. Edit, Free Transform, and then get it to fit your head. Now sometimes it's not going to fit right. You'll see in that top left corner it's got a little bit of a weird thing going on, and you can always hit the warp tool right there and kind of see if you can move it to where you like it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Always use the Polygonal Lasso tool to add stuff to the hat if you want, or even add a logo. It's totally up to you. So I'm going to zoom in on this, and you can see, it's just driving me crazy. So I'm going to grab the eraser. I'm just going to erase that little nub right there. Now here's how to change the color. If you want to change color, view, fit in the area, you just go to Image Adjustments, Hue, Saturation, and you can just make it whatever color you want. Now I just want a dark gray. If you make it black, I won't see the details. So I'm just showing you, you can make it any color you want. So then turn down that to where you like it. Find a gray hat. I think I turned all the saturation all the way down. So it's not black, but you can still see the details. Alright, so now I believe I'm going to add some more accessories. So File, Open, and if you look up here, there you go. Access, I don't even know what that is. Oh, that's, I accidentally clicked on dread hair. This file, open. Click on accessories, then go to, oh, I'm going to add glasses. I'll do the 3D glasses. Hit open. If you want to add glasses, you just click drag until it highlights blue over there, and then you'll see it. Don't need that anymore. Edit, free transform, and then just move that and move the bounding box to where you like it, and then hit enter. I'm just gonna, what am I doing here? Oh, I'm doing a drop shadow. Yeah, if you want to do a drop shadow, you can just get that shaded effect. I'm gonna turn it off because I don't think I'll even use it in my guy. I'm just showing you how to do it. So you can always turn off layers you don't use, just for fun. All right, then go to File, Open, and now I think it's time to add some more accessories. There's jewelry to choose from, and sports if you're into sports to put around you. But I'm a pencil guy. I like the arts, so I'm gonna choose a pencil, and that's in the regular accessories. So there's my pencil. The paintbrush. You just hit open. Same thing, click, drag till highlights blue, and then edit, free transform, and then just be very careful moving that down there. You can rotate it a little bit. It's not going to be straight up. The pencil up. Now you notice I have it underneath, I have it on top of the thumb, and if I zoom in, I want it underneath the thumb, but over the hand. So there's a neat way to do this. Alright, name it pencil. If we go up to opacity, turn this down to like 50% so it's ghosty. You can kind of see where you need to erase. So I'm going to grab my eraser, and then if you go up here, make your hardness 100%, and then make the size about as big as your thumb, and just hit erase a couple times. Bing, bang, and then go over to your options bar, turn it back up to 100%. It looks like it's there. Now to make it even better, grab your burn tool and do some light burning on the bottom and tops of where that is, so it looks like he's actually holding it. It's got a little shaded effect. Alright, so say that's all the accessories you want to use. Now you're ready to put the background in. You got to go to of course you can always add more accessories if you want. I think I'm just showing you all the accessories if you're a gamer or whatever else you're into. If you go to accessories in the Southpark folder, you'll see backgrounds has its own special folder. You can use any background you want. You can copy and paste from the internet, but here's some pre-made Southpark ones to use, and just find one you like. I kind of like the classroom because I'm a teacher. So if you don't like any of these, obviously copy and paste something from the internet, and then just you'll see how I do this. Grab it right here, same thing, till highlights blue, and then edit, free transform. Don't worry about where it is in the layer box. You're gonna see it kind of look weird. You see, oh, it's just got a floating beard there with the mouth. Definitely want to apply that, so hit enter. But you want to drag the background all the way to the bottom. You can see all the layers you have so far. So it's all the way to the bottom, but it looks like you're floating. So if you click the layer right above the background layer and then scroll up to the very, very top and hold down shift, you're selected all of the layers. You have to do that. You have to hold down shift, and then you can go to edit, free transform, and they all stay together. But you have to make sure you hold down shift key and make sure you select the top one, and then hold down shift and then select the second from the last, which is the pants or whatever, which one that is. Alright, you can also right click while they're all still highlighted. You can create a mini-me. So while they're all still highlighted, right click on them and duplicate layers, and you'll have a duplication of yourself that you can edit, free transform, and make a mini-me. Obviously, you don't have to make a mini-me. And for my mini-me, he doesn't have a beard because he's mini. And so I got rid of his beard. Oops, wrong layer. I don't know what I'm trying to do. Oh, I'm trying to create a shadow on the background. Notice I'm on the background layer, and I grab the elliptical selection tool, and I have on the options bar those two conjoined circles that are selected, and I went to select, modify, feather. I'm going to go 10. So these are just selections with a feather. Now if I use the burn tool and then make sure it's a soft brush, make sure it's a big brush, very soft, 0%, make it big, and then if I go over it like that, it just creates this nice little soft shadow. Obviously the more that I do, the darker it gets. You don't want to overdo it. And you can always turn down the exposure up there on the options bar. Select, deselect. Maybe I just want to do some regular burning on the background layer. I'm on the background layer, just doing some light, very, very light. I'm turning down the exposure just to make it a little bit darker, kind of to ease out that hard line of the shadows. Alright, now the next step is if you want to type your signature in or some other stuff. For my students, they'll definitely need their signature, so you want to go to File, Open, and then find your PNG file for your signature, wherever that is. If you don't have a PNG file signature, don't worry. I'll show you how to type it in. So you open that up, and then same thing. I want to just drag it in using, I don't know why I keep trying to do that. You would think I would know by now. That, is it there? Is it there? No, it's not. So I gotta go back, close all these, and let's try this again. Alright, yeah, there we go. Grab it by there, move it up till it highlights blue. There it is. Now, I can move it down to the corner. That's usually where you want to put it, bottom corner somewhere, and then edit, free transform. It's way too big. Way too big. Now, if you want to type something, say your name or something on the board or whatever, if you don't have a signature, you can always type it in. And I gotta say, I really love the fonts that they have here in Photopea. There it is. There's the type tool. If you go up here in the options bar and click on that, they're all the fonts, and you can see what they look like in the preview. It's so much better than Photoshop's or the fonts installed on your computer. There's just a nice variety. So find one you like. You'll probably have to install it. It'll ask you to install it, or it'll say installing font. Once you find one that you like, it appears that I'm being very, very picky. So let's see. I like that one. So you just click once and just start typing. Don't worry about the size. Just click once and type your name, because you can always go to edit, free transform, and you can see here I messed up because I was like, why is it so small? But I just type it in. It's going to be ridiculously small, most likely. Doesn't matter. You can go to edit, free transform to make it bigger, and then say if you messed up, you can just kind of click in it and highlight it. So I'm going to move it up here, Kleber Art Tutorials. You can rotate it a little bit. I'm going to add some blending options on this, so if you double click on it, go to color overlay, make it look like chalk, get that chalky color. Yeah, see, I turned down the opacity or whatever that says. I can't really see it. And then messing around with some of the blending options if you want to try to do an outer glow, to no avail. And then I can type something else in. I'm just going to right click, duplicate this layer, and then click on the T, and I'm going to highlight what I just wrote and change it. I duplicated it, so the other one's still there. Then edit, free transform, you know, move it where you want presents. You don't have to do this. I'm just explaining how I did it. And then looks like I don't know what I did there. Oh, I duplicated it again. I typed in something else. Southpark character on Photopea, and then move that to where it goes. And basically, I'm pretty much done. But knowing me, it's never done. I'm already thinking about how to make that stand out better. So let's see, I've got a free transform. I want to make that smaller, and then move that over there. I guess I'm trying to warp it now. You can warp your text too. I don't know if I got it to work or not. I think I did. Click on T, rasterize, and then edit, transform, and then hit the warp. Then you can kind of really do crazy stuff to the letters. You don't have to do this though. I'm just showing you different things. Alright, so I got it basically where I want it. Maybe I'll make it brighter. I think I will. So going back into blending options, I'm just changing this to a pure yellow. And then I'll do a black stroke outline. I'll obviously turn up the opacity, go to the line, change that to black so it really stands out. And then you can actually copy that layer style if you right click and go to right there and go to copy, and then go to the other text and right click and go to the same thing, go to paste. It'll paste exactly what you did on the previous one. So now I gotta find Claver Art Tutorials and right click, la-di-da, you go there, paste, and there it goes. So now you're ready to save it. So you can save it as a PSD like this, and it'll automatically save it into your download. See that? So do that, but also save it as a JPEG if you're done. Now the wonderful thing about Photopea is you can go back and forth between Photoshop and Photopea. So if your computer does not have Photoshop, you can do the entire project on Photopea. But if you're going back and forth between the two, they're very accessible. You just have to save it in your Google Drive or email it to yourself or put it on a flash drive or something like that. So once you're done and you see your picture from my students, then you can upload it into Google Classroom. There it is. There's your JPEG finished version. You put that on social media or whatever. It's a JPEG, so it saves anywhere. So there's your Photoshop document with all your layers, so it documents your work. So hopefully you've learned something today and you've created something that you're proud of. So happy photoshopping and happy photopeaing.